Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It has been a few minutes since Lenny's been here. He's been too busy, doing what teenagers do. So this is the first time we've had a chance to get in the studio together again. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Glad you got over being mad at me. One of the hot topics that we've had lately has been the elections here in Europe. This is something that even yesterday when I was at work, my boss came by for an impromptu inspection. Really, it's just an excuse to drink coffee together. And even though we were supposed to be talking about a financial audit, we mostly talked about the German elections and the elections in Europe in general. So what Lenny suggested to me a moment ago was let's talk about the European elections. In a separate video, we'll talk about the German elections because these elections are going to have an awful lot to do with immigration policy.
Oh, yes.
Lenny, kick us off.
Yeah, so basically, just because I am right now able to vote because I'm 16, the age got just lowered to 16, so all 16-year-olds can vote. So that's a topic that concerns me as well. So I thought maybe you guys want to know a bit more about that and a bit more about the election that just got down. So I thought I'd maybe share some information. Don't take and every information from me word by word because I might be wrong on some things, but I try to keep everything as true as I can, as accurate as I can. So so
May I interrupt for a second?
Sure.
I'm sorry, I can't
Sure.
let this go. You have, and I did not know this until it just came out of your mouth. You have the right to vote at 16.
Oh yes, we do.
You have the right to buy beer.
Yeah.
At 16.
Yeah.
You have the right to fly an airplane with a license at 16.
Yeah.
But you have to wait till you're 18 to get a license to drive a car.
Yeah.
In America, it's the other way around. At 16, you can get a car,
Okay.
a driver's license. At 18, you can vote. And I think you have to be 21 in some states to get alcohol, or maybe that's nationwide.
So yeah.
Okay,
Just
you.
Yeah, no problem. Just to that. 16-year-olds are allowed to vote in the EU elections and in the city council elections and the citywide elections. But right now, currently, not in the Bundestag elections and also not in the big political national elections because but they're thinking about it and they're trying to lower the age to vote down to 16 because Germany just realized that a lot of teenagers have a different opinion than the older people.
Oh, yeah.
So I think they are realizing that maybe it's a good idea to hear the teenagers as well and to let them vote because
it's their country also.
Exactly. Back to the EU elections. So I think that.
I'm sorry, I got to interrupt one more time.
Sure.
As these things come to me. In the last election that we had, which was, 3 weeks ago, I guess, I went up to the airfield on the day of the elections. It was a Sunday. And several people asked me if I had voted. Robin asked me if I had voted. Wolf had asked me if I had voted.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Philip did as well. And I said to them, well, I can't. I don't have my citizenship yet. And they said, no. If you are a permanent resident, if you have the Niederlassungserlaubnis, that I have the right to vote in the local elections also.
I think so, yes.
Not national. So even as an immigrant without citizenship, I was allowed to vote.
Yeah.
Local elections.
Yeah. And that's pretty cool, I think.
Never in America.
I mean, there are a lot of different things here that you might consider between America and
different topic. Okay, EU elections. So tell us what happened.
So I think it's very interesting because some countries swung to the left and some countries swung to the right. I don't know specific countries. I think that England and France, but I'm not 100%.
Went distinctly left.
Yeah, went left, and some.
So
countries,
did the Scandinavian countries.
Yeah,
which
Yeah.
I'll come to in just a second because that's, I think,
Yeah.
important.
And some countries like Germany, for example, went to the right.
Netherlands went to the right.
Netherlands went to the right, and I think that's interesting to see which countries went where, because it is just reflecting what's happening in the country.
Mhm.
And for example, in Germany right now, we have a problem, which is immigration,
Mhm.
but um, I think a lot of people just get it wrong. They think that immigration is the problem, but it's not immigration; it's illegal immigration.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. I think the same in the United States.
yeah,
Yes.
and that's just the most important thing. And there are parties in Germany, like for example the AfD, which is a party that is far right.
However, we said we were going to stay on EU elections at the moment.
True.
So
Okay.
let me jump in and say, or let me ask
Thank
you
you.
this. You said that in Germany, you've already hinted,
Yes.
the primary issue is immigration.
Yes.
Do you think that's any different in any other country?
Well, I really don't think so, but I think in Germany the people are just fed up.
Okay. The reason I say this is because I know for a fact that in the French elections, immigration was the top issue
Mhm.
because France has been overrun with people from their colonies.
Mhm.
And I'm in 100% agreement with you that in Germany, it's an issue of illegal immigration.
Yeah.
But I think in France, a lot of those people are there legally
Mhm.
from the colonies, and it's too many people. And the crazy thing is, after the elections, after they had this runoff where the Liberal Party won
Yeah.
and actually pushed out the centrists,
Yeah.
that all the Muslim immigrants were rioting in the streets, burning down Paris.
Mhm.
They won the election and they're
Yeah.
burning down Paris. That is not, my opinion, going to help the immigration issue.
Not really.
But in the Netherlands, immigration, number one issue.
yeah.
And the government that got elected there was distinctly right wing and distinctly anti-Muslim immigrant, which, I think that borders on racism. I don't, I think you and I both agree. Religion,
Yeah.
your religious belief is completely irrelevant. Your
doesn't
color of your
matter.
skin completely irrelevant. Your sexual orientation completely irrelevant. The question is, are you here legally or not?
And are you here to get a second chance
Yeah.
and to start a new life?
Correct.
Or are you here to destroy our country? That my grandparents built again after a huge incident and worked
Incident.
very-
World War II was an incident.
Okay, a large what I mean.
Millions of people killed, but an
Yeah,
incident.
it's
Road bump.
yeah, a little
Speed bump in
little
history.
speed bump, yeah.
That's what they're teaching in school now.
Oh my god, no, I phrased that wrong. Sorry, but
So at Auschwitz, they just produced a lot of bread. That's what they made in the ovens. Okay. All right. Stay.
No.
Joke. But it's funny you say that your grandparents rebuilt.
Yeah.
I happen to know one of your grandparents.
Yep.
My grandparents left before the war,
Mhm.
and yet now my family's returning.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, but I know that in Scandinavia, specifically
Mhm.
Denmark, Norway, Sweden, the reason their governments went left, based on the analysis that I've been reading, is because immigration was not an issue in
Mhm.
those countries.
Mhm.
It was the economy.
Oh.
And the reason immigration wasn't an issue in those countries is because 4 years ago, they sealed the borders.
Oh yeah.
And to immigrants, period. Just no. Now, when I say period, I should point out, we're talking about asylum seekers. Scandinavia is not taking any asylum seekers. They're turning you away at the border. Don't come here. Illegal immigrants, unlike Germany, they put you on a bus, they get rid of you. They put you on a train
Mhm.
or an airplane, they get rid of you. And so it just seems to me that illegal immigration, is the primary.
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, let me bring up something while we're on
Sure.
the topic. This is something that's come up at work lately. I've told you guys plenty of times that a large number of my employees are students here in Germany. They work for me part-time. Lenny knows a bunch of them. I think Germany's doing a disservice to them as immigrants. I don't know if you quite consider them immigrants because they're students, but they come here with no German skills. They're not required to have German skills. They go into university's master's levels program, which are all taught in English. They don't have to learn English. And at the end of their degree, they're allowed to stay in Germany a certain number of years to search for a job in their field. But after you've been here studying for 4 years and only
Yeah.
hanging out with other university students who speak English, you can't speak German worth a damn.
No.
So how are you
100%.
going to get a job? So
Yeah.
they work in my office.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's also a big problem, but I think we discussed it in another video.
Mm.
Where I think that just it's important to learn German if you come to Germany.
Oh, yeah, I think it's the primary thing that
Yeah.
somebody needs to be doing. But what is your view on the immigration EU wide as it pertains to Americans, Canadians, Australians? Do you think that there's a trend toward tightening immigration control across the board or for specific regions?
Well, I think that it's pretty hard to say because if you say, well, let's tighten it for only the Middle Eastern countries,
Correct.
you're immediately in the racist field,
Mhm.
which
Rightly
is
so. I mean,
yeah,
that's the definition of
yeah,
racism.
which is just not okay. But I think that first world oh no, sorry, not first world countries. I'm so sorry. Um, Countries like the USA, Canada, Australia, that are just
First world countries. Okay.
yeah.
I don't know
First
why you
world
get that bad. Okay.
No, I'm just not 100% sure about the English here,
Okay.
but so countries like USA, where you have a pretty high standard, and where the
Mm.
living standard is also pretty good, or in some cases, I wouldn't say in all, but I would say in some cases, I think immigration would be easier, and I think they make it easier because if you come from those countries, you already know that there are rules to follow. You have to
They're orderly
apply
societies.
there. Yeah,
But okay, but what part of my issue,
yeah,
and well, I don't want to speak for other people, but part of my issue is that when immigrants are coming here, especially the ones that are illegal, they are coming from countries where there really is not law and order.
yeah.
And let's be honest, they don't have strong educational systems, which means
No.
they're coming here. And I have this with some employees who cannot read or write,
Yeah.
who do not have job skills.
Yeah.
What are you going to contribute to the German economy or the French economy or the Norwegian economy?
Mm-hmm.
These people, I guess, it sounds like a terrible thing, but I have to speak reality. These people are a drain on the system. So they come here and like I've got 2 employees that are immigrants right now
Yeah.
who, right, quite frankly, are milking the social services.
Yeah, and that is a huge problem, and we see it as well.
And I'm talking EU
But
wide. I'm not even talking specifically Germany.
no, because I think that if you come to a country to begin a new life,
Mm-hmm.
I think you should put everything in your power to adapt to the country, to just accept the culture in that country,
Absolutely.
and I think that is a requirement.
Absolutely.
And I think if you do that, if for example, if you cannot read or write, and if you're just your whole life has been miserable in another country, and you come to we take Germany as an example. You come to Germany and you say, hey, well, I want to live as a human. I want to
Mhm.
be like
I want to contribute to society.
Exactly. There are ways.
Yes.
You can go to a language school which
Yes.
is free. You can go to school which is free in
Yeah,
Germany.
you can learn to read and write.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of people that come to Germany, for example, because we have a system that just
It's generous.
is very generous, and they stay here. They they get a permanent or they get a
Residence
pass,
permit.
residence permit, and they file for Hartz IV, which is a law in Germany that that just if you don't have a job, they pay you.
Correct.
Like what is it, 500 or 400 euros per month?
Well, it's or 60 to 67% of whatever your paycheck was before you lost your job.
Exactly. And they're just
Milking it.
staying somewhere, getting that money, and sending it right back to their country where they
Milking
came
it.
from. And that's not.
We can get into very specifics because
Yeah.
you've said something to me in the past I want to address when we talk about Germany
Sure.
specifically in the next video.
Sure.
But it just seems to me that is what the real problem is here.
Yeah.
Is these folks who are coming from war-torn countries and being allowed to just enter bring no skills whatsoever
Yep.
and have no interest in adapting, because in Denmark in 2024 and 2025, there is a new law where people have to move now. Where, because what happens is, and this is absolutely true in the United States and always has been true, Irishmen come to New York and they all live in the same area. The Puerto Ricans come to New York, and I'm talking about 1900, 1910.
Yeah.
They would come and they'd stay in their own little ghettos, their own little groups. Now, when I say ghetto, I'm using the actual definition of ghetto.
Yep.
And so you don't learn the language, you don't learn the culture, and you stay only within your little groups. Well, that's what's happening and again, I'm going to use Denmark as an example, where these people congregate together and they never learn Danish. And they don't even go to the Danish school system, and they don't adapt the Danish culture. And that's dangerous, because that's where these fundamentalists, these terrorists, these extremists are coming from. So what Denmark did was, after they froze immigration and asylum, they actually said by 2025, we are going to break up the ghettos. And if you refuse to move, we're just going to come in with bulldozers, because you need to live with other Danish people. You need to live in Danish towns. You need to speak the Danish language. And if you don't, goodbye.
Yep.
And because of World War II, because of the atrocities committed by the Nazis, and none of us here are denying that they were atrocities,
No.
but because of that, particularly Germans are oversensitive about telling the truth. It's the same in the United States. If someone is wrapped up in this gender identity politics, and they identify themselves as gay, and you say anything against gays, they flip out. Okay, but if what I'm saying about you as an individual is true, get as angry as you want to get. The fact is the fact, and I don't think any of us are doing our countries or our families or ourselves any good service by refusing to say what is the truth.
Yeah.
That is a problem today. Everybody gets offended, and if I get offended, you can't say that anymore. Get over yourself.
Yep.
Learn to deal with the real world.
Yep. 100%.
Sorry, went on a rant.
No.
I need my church fan.
All good. I 100% agree with you. And I mean, I have I don't know if you guys know it, but in our school system, we're gonna have to talk about the school system as well. We're gonna have to make.
We got plenty of videos to talk about.
So we have basically, just for your quick information, we have something called Leistungsfach, which is a subject that is heavier graded, and you have more often in the week, and we have 3 subjects.
Major, and we call them majors.
Okay, yeah. English. So a major subject, but only in the last 3 years of your school life. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna explain that to you in a separate video. But so I have also English as my major subject, and we talk about.
Working.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're talking about USA, just about the USA just a week ago, and we were talking about exactly that. We were talking about ghettos, or not ghettos, but
Enclaves.
That could be. I have to relook my notes, but we were talking about people that, for example, come also to USA, and Mexicans, for example, and they gather in like their own communities, and they are not getting any they are not getting any meetups.
There's no integration.
You have no interaction as well with with the people that are native, and
correct.
That's a huge problem, because you're learning nothing. You learn nothing.
Look at the jump I made when joining the flying club.
Exactly. That's what I just wanted to say.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Steven came to the flying club with German that was.
You can be honest. You can be honest.
Was just not existent.
It was shitty.
Yeah, but then he came to the flying club, and at the flying club, the people just forced him to speak German.
Yeah, they refused to speak English.
Exactly. And how long are you now in the flying club? 2 years?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. And his German is now better than some of my friends, and they are native German. And yes, for example, Harry. Well, he's
a native German.
Yeah,
he is.
He is a native German.
May have been born somewhere else, but he was raised here. His family's German.
Kerem, for example, he's Turkish. He's here for 6 years now. Your German is better, so it really helps to
But
just go
Yeah,
somewhere.
but I had that responsibility.
Yes,
I had that response because I think of immigrants coming into this country or any country as you're coming into my house, you're coming into my home, and I'll welcome you. I will try to help you improve your life, but you have to adapt to the way we do things in our home. We're not changing the way we run our home because you moved in. We're
Yeah.
not changing the food in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
We might make, we might go out and buy extra stuff for you, but we're not going to change what's in our what's on our TV, and we're not going to change. No.
Yeah.
And you're going to get a job. You're going to help pay rent.
Wow. Yeah.
Dude, get off my goddamn sofa. Go get a fucking job.
Yeah.
Get out of my basement.
Yeah.
Stand on your own 2 feet and take care of yourself.
That is.
But it's just not the cultures in some instances that they come from.
exactly.
So I'm sorry, I went on another rant.
You're good.
That goes for you too. Get off my sofa and go get a job, Lenny.
Oh damn!
Damn.
I just got accepted. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That part.
just saying.
Congratulations.
Just saying. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
This video went a whole lot longer than I
Oh,
expected,
yeah.
but all it did was open up more topics for future videos because now I'm on it.
Yep.
So
Talk
let's
about
close this one out, and I'm gonna go get some coffee, recharge the battery on the camera. We'll get ready for the German video. I really hope you like this. I hope you enjoy having Lenny here. I always enjoy having him over.
Thank you.
And if you like what we're doing and you'd like to support us, please join us on Patreon. Please absolutely join us on Patreon. We meet every Sunday, evening our time, afternoon in the United States, and you can talk with us directly. You can put your questions to us directly. You can contribute to us directly. But please help support us because our service lives on donations. Until next time, which hopefully will be in a few minutes, take care of yourselves and be smart. Cheers.
Ciao.